Chapter 46. Dr. Caitlin Luttrell, Medical Executive Committee Meeting. I don't care what you want to do. There are bylaws that you have to follow. What are the allegations of misconduct against Dr. Turner? The chief medical officer shook his head before replying. As we have said countless times already, there isn't one particular thing, but his presence here has rendered our hospital non-functional. Patients cannot even get to the hospital because the parking lot looks like a scene from Woodstock. And is any of that his fault? You're going to revoke his privileges because too many patients want him to be their doctor? Are you hearing yourselves? Caitlin, you know this isn't personal. Of course this isn't his fault, but it's the reality of the situation. There's even a warrant out for his arrest now. If we're going to continue providing care to the patients of this town, we need to tell the people that Dr. Cameron Turner no longer works at our facility. Plain and simple. I tossed my pen onto the table and then scanned the room. Most of the other physicians refused to meet my gaze, instead finding interest in their phone, their neighbor, or any random object that wouldn't make them feel guilty. My eyes stopped when they found Hans Albrecht. He stared blankly at me. I couldn't tell if he supported me or the rest of his colleagues. Then he stood up and erased all doubt. My dear colleagues, as you likely heard, I'm the one who saved Dr. Turner's life the night of his assault. He suffered catastrophic injuries, the likes of which no one should survive, could not survive, even if the attack happened on my operating room table. The CMO interrupted in an effort to move the meeting along. We'd already gone far beyond the normal time for adjournment, and we hadn't moved on past the first agenda item. Yes, Hans, we know you did an amazing— No, I didn't. He emphasized his point by raising both hands and held them out to the rest of the room. See these hands. They are incapable of performing miracles, yet they did that night. How is that possible? Once again, no one answered. I was curious to see where he was going, so I helped him along. It's not, I said. Hans spun and pointed at me. Exactly, it's not. The truth is, anyone in this room could have saved his life that night, because he wasn't meant to die. I could have put our surgical intern in charge of the case and taken a nap. I didn't believe it at first. Miracles don't happen. God wasn't real. But how can any of us say that anymore? You've all seen it. In fact, you got irritated when Dr. Turner didn't wave his hand to fix your complications. How selfish are we? How many of us have prayed to God or anyone else who would listen to intervene and save the life of a patient? And don't tell me it's just because you care about your patients. No, it's also because you didn't want to be the last person to touch them before they died. Maybe you even made a mistake. But now that we have someone with divine powers offering our patients cures that none of us can, our answer is to banish him from our midst, kick him to the street. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The most arrogant surgeon I'd ever met just downplayed his role in a heroic save and chastised his colleagues for not sticking up for an ER doctor. Hans walked toward the end of the table, where the CMO sat fidgeting in his chair. It was obvious we wouldn't be getting to the second item on the agenda tonight. I've spent every night for the last few weeks reading the New Testament. Sister Margaret gave me a challenge verse, and it convicted me. The verse says that if we want to follow Jesus, we need to deny ourselves and pick up a cross and follow him. What will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? Hans pulled his stethoscope off his shoulders and dropped it on the desk in front of the CMO. This is me denying myself. If you remove Cameron Turner's privileges, take mine as well. I was on top of the world of surgery, and I was miserable. It's time I stopped saving lives and started saving souls. He unclipped his ID badge and handed it over as well. I'm going to find Dr. Turner. We all watched him walk out of the room in utter silence. It was the last thing any of us saw coming, like if the Kentucky Derby turned into a polo match after the third turn. After the door closed on Hans, the CMO chuckled. Well, I guess we need to hire a trauma surgeon and an ER doctor. All those in favor of removing Dr. Turner and accepting Dr. Albrecht's resignation? Nearly every hand rose into the air. I tried to take a mental picture of those throwing their colleague under the bus, and then pushed my chair back from the table. Nice to see we all stick together here. I'm done apologizing for calling you in the middle of the night. I turned and headed for the same door Hans used. Maybe I could catch him before he got too far. He'd figured out something about life, and I want in on it. Cameron. I made it to the airport before Addison and Aaron did. The lawyer for Alliance had sent the travel information, and my phone directed me to the private aviation terminal at the airport. A disinterested guard manned a security gate, but he became much more animated once I handed him my driver's license. Dr. Turner, I've been following your story closely. Can I tell you how much inspiration it gives me? It's so much easier focusing on God's work when I know He has people walking the streets doing His work. You're obviously the star quarterback, but you've motivated a lot of small players like me to step up our game. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. We all have our part to play. The question is whether we'll do it. He glanced both ways through his window and then leaned down. I saw the news report. I'll leave your name off the gate log. No one needs to know you were here. What was he talking about? What news story? I'm sorry, I don't follow. There's a warrant out for your arrest. Something about negligent homicide? I'm engaging in a little civil disobedience here by letting you get on the plane. Where are you headed? Wonderful. The entire city knows there's a warrant out for my arrest now. It's just time to get out of town for a bit. I'll be back soon enough. A familiar horn blared behind me. I met Addison's gaze in my rearview mirror. Aaron waved with a smile. That's my family. They're coming with me. Do you mind waving them through? The guard pressed a button, and the metal gate slid sideways. No problem at all. Have a great flight. I thanked him and motioned with my hand for Addison to follow me. I found the plane exactly where Alliance said it would be. We parked and then met for a group hug on the tarmac. Cam, I don't like this. It feels like we're running away, said Addison. Well, we sort of are, but not just away. We're running toward something wonderful for us and several other families. I turned toward my son. Aaron, this is the start of a difficult process, one that's going to break up our family permanently. Are you sure you're ready? Our eyes connected, and I could see the maturity in his gaze. He'd been thinking about this a lot. Dad, I know what you have to do. I know this is the path that God laid out for you to follow. If you don't do it, you'd be disobeying God. I want to help. I hugged both of them to me and squeezed until a greeting interrupted us from the top of the portable stairs. A sharply dressed pilot waved down at us. Dr. Turner, come on up. We're cleared for departure. Okay, Team Turner, it's game time, I said. Let's do this. Aaron ran up the steps, and I followed behind my wife. A flight attendant showed us to the seats. Aaron found one that reclined flat and played with the controls until he adjusted it to his liking. Addison and I took seats in custom leather chairs facing each other. She kicked her foot out and tried to rest it on my lap, but it didn't quite reach. She found a control panel and pressed buttons until her seat slid forward and reclined. This time, her right foot landed on my lap while its shoe remained on the floor. She deserved a foot massage, actually an entire body massage, daily for the rest of her life. I wouldn't be here to do it, but maybe the insurance money would help. That reminds me, I need to figure out what to do with all of it. My legacy can't be that I enriched my family with a gift from God. Excuse me, I said to the attendant. Where are we headed? Portland, she said. Oregon or Maine? She laughed at my question. Have you ever heard of a superhero flying away from the sun? I know who you are, Dr. Turner, and I'm thrilled to be on this flight with you. If you need anything at all, just let me know. I'll be with you for the first 3 flights today. My phone vibrated, and I checked the screen. Incoming call from Hans Albrecht. Not right now, Hans. I'm busy.